being here in Louisville, how excited are you to get this football series going this year with U of L?
I think that this is a great opportunity for the brand of Western Kentucky University. For two of the top three academic institutions in the in the Commonwealth of Kentucky to go head to head and to play a 3-game series over the course of the next few years. I'm excited to get up here and see our fan base out at the Papa John Cardinal Stadium. Have a chance to see a slew of red and the right shade of red, which is going to be hilltop of red. And I think the thing I'm most excited about is we have some young men on our football team, particularly our youth movement, that grew up in this area, that certainly would love nothing more than to have a chance to beat University of Louisville here. But we got a lot of work to do to get to that point. We certainly understand that. We got some young players that need to step up. A couple examples of young players from the Louisville metro area. Cole Spencer started the last 4 or 5 games at right tackle as a true freshman last year out of Trinity. His development has been incredible. Just looking at him, the fact that he played as a true freshman, was baptized under fire. That was a challenging situation for him to come in, but as a result of that, he is ready to be really a stalwart of our offensive line, and which should be his redshirt freshman year is going to be his true sophomore year. Another player, tandem of players on defense that are from Shelbyville, outside of this area, in the greater Louisville area is, DeAndre Ferris. Dre Ferris was in the top 10, in pass breakups last year, and we joke about it all the time. We want him to be in the top 10 in interceptions, so we've been working on him catching the football, and he's shown leadership as a senior, as an upperclassman that's going to really carry the defense throughout the course of this year. And his high school teammate, also out of Shelbyville area, Martha Lane College, both of them are Martha Lane College alums, is Masai White, who's looking to replace one of the greatest linebackers to ever come through Western Kentucky, and that's Joel Igbunwe. And I think Masai's up to the task. He looks to be in the best shape of his life, and I think he's going to have a terrific year this year. And those two players in particular, I think, really showcase what our program wants to be about. Tough blue-collar guys that care a lot about their state, care a lot about their team, and will play with a lot of pride when we come here at Louisville. The other one's an incoming freshman that I think we've got to steal in recruiting, and now we can finally talk about our incoming freshmen. But from PRP here locally, younger cousin of Joe Brown is Shannon Beanie Bishop. He just goes by Beanie. He's a young man that ran a 4.3 140 on my own personal stopwatch last year at camp, and that is that's something that you don't find very often. And he's put on 15 pounds of muscle. Looks like he might be able to contribute here in his freshman year. And with him, this brand new NCAA legislation that just was released with regards to playing in 4 games as a true freshman and still have your red shirt available, I think that could be applied in this case with Shannon Beanie Bishop as a young man that might need a little bit more development, might need a little bit more strength and bulk to add to his frame, but who knows, come Louisville game, he might be ready to contribute. He's going to have a massive chip on his shoulder to play in that game, but it could be later in the season. It could be, God willing, this stretch run to get in the conference championship game, and a bowl game. Those would be the type of things that we look for some of these freshmen to do and potentially maintain the red shirt.
How much flexibility does that rule give you now as a coach?
I think it gives us incredible levity for the ability to keep our freshmen that are incoming engaged in the process, to keep them excited about the potential of playing. And then the other part of it too is some spring football injuries that would typically rule out a player to play, such as Jakari Moses. Jakari Moses played as a true freshman last year, played in a good chunk of our games, and he unfortunately had what would be deemed as a season-ending injury during spring football. He's on track to return in October or November potentially, and he could play 4 games for us in his second year, and then be able to maintain that redshirt year. And I think it is a great ruling. Todd Berry with the American Football Coaches Association has been championing this effort for quite some time. And think it was a major victory because it also allows some of our student athletes to continue to strain and strive to do more academically. What would have been a burned year, a redshirt year burned, now potentially a fifth year, you're looking at a master's degree as a possibility, which is what we want. We want to achieve all that we can achieve academically as it relates to our football program.
You mentioned
Going back to recruiting, obviously can't comment on commitments, but just looking at what you've done these past 2 seasons and even this weekend, has it kind of been exceeded your expectations in anyone to recruit?
Our goals are our goals. The pursuit is the pursuit. We believe in it as with the same conviction, if not more, than the day to December 14th, 2016. We believe in this wholeheartedly, and the last 3 goals of the pursuit, being that we want to win our conference every year. We want to defeat a Power 5 team every year, and we want to win a New Year's 6 bowl game every year. To do that, you don't just put it on your walls in your facility. You've got to go out and find the players that are capable of doing that and delivering on those goals year in and year out. And so what we're trying to accomplish is that we want to bring about a football program in classes that are just saturated with Power 5 football players. To beat Power 5 teams, to win New Year's 6 bowl games, you're going to have to compete with the best of the best in the Power 5. And so we do things a little differently in terms of our evaluation process. It's strenuous. It puts a lot of strain on our coaching staff. It puts a lot of strain on our camp season. But what we ultimately find is that we are casting a very, very wide net, a large net across a massive geographical area that starts in Kentucky and then it continues through to other parts of the overall Southeast and even parts of New Orleans, parts of Louisiana, getting in Shreveport. Down in Florida has always been a big part of what we do, and the ties with Coach Taggart are still significant down there. But casting a wide net has allowed for the classes that we bring in. Although the traveling is a little bit more extensive for our coaching staff and myself, it's well worth it because the quality has certainly been up to par and it needs to continue to get better.
It seems like building offensive line depth a pretty big goal of this 2019 class.
It is. We can't bring enough offensive linemen in. Just had a conversation with our new offensive line coach and another Power 5 coach, and T.J. Woods that coached the offensive line at Wisconsin, coached the offensive line at Oregon State, and he was asking, we're getting down to what should be the end of our offensive line recruiting. I said, just keep going, keep bringing in big bodies. We can never have enough offensive linemen. We can never fill our roster with enough 6'4" to 6'6", 285-pound athletic dudes. So keep on going. Don't stop now. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to bring in offensive linemen that are up to the standard of the Forrest Lamps that have come before them. And certainly, Cam Clemens was a great offensive lineman here. And even Diesel, the right tackle, was a heck of an offensive lineman, and Darrell Williams. So those are the kind of guys that we need to bring in this program, and then continue to develop what's on our team. That's important to us too. And I think we were left with some good interior offensive line candidates and a few tackle bodies, and I think that group of 5 is in a very good place. But won't speak too much on that until we have a chance to take the field, and we're gonna have a great test up in Madison, Wisconsin. We're going in there, excited to play that game.
How do they look on film?
They look like a team that's going to be rated in the top 5 in the country preseason, and that's exactly. I think the majority of the pundits have them anywhere between 3 and 7. That's who they are. They're long, they're big. You got to go in there with your chin strap buckled. You got to go in there with your lunch pail ready to go to work and battle and strain to get every inch that you can get offensively, and to strain for every yard defensively. And we got to do a great job stopping the run. Everybody knows that when you go up to Wisconsin. But not to mention that they have a quarterback that's going to be in the conversation of being one of the top quarterbacks in the draft class coming up in 2018, 2019. So we got our hands full, but we're excited for the challenge, and we're going to go in there as a team that's really hungry to put forth the absolute best product that we're capable of putting forth.
You mentioned the youth movement. How much will you lean on your newcomers this year?
We bring every single one of our newcomers in with the intent of playing, and that's going to be the case from here until year 15, year 20 here at Western. We want those young men coming in to elevate the play of the players that are currently on the roster, and so that's the mentality. But they also do come in humbly. They are incoming freshmen that are still trying to figure out where the study hall is, and trying to figure out where their tutoring sessions are going to be, and learning how to be a college student. So there are some of those challenges, which is why the 4-game redshirt rule is impactful for us. There's probably about 5 players that, had we had that rule last year, would have played. Juwan Jones is one in particular that's going to be in the conversation to be a starting defensive end. He was a linebacker coming out of high school, weighed about 228 pounds. Now he's broaching 270 pounds as a defensive end. Those are the kind of body types that you'd love to see develop. So back to the original question of the incoming freshmen, they're all coming in with a mindset to compete, to play. Where that actually stacks up, we'll make those determinations as the year continues to move on.
How do you get your quarterbacks to understand that while they have big shoes to fill because of their predecessors, that they have to be their own guy?
Well, I think systematically what we do offensively, it fits each one of the quarterbacks on our roster incredibly well. Starting with our 5th-year senior Drew Eccles is a player that I am incredibly excited to watch get his opportunity to be the starting quarterback at Western Kentucky. In the day and age we live in of college athletics, and the transfer free agency market era that we're in currently, for him to stay dedicated to his teammates and to show the type of resiliency through 5 years on the Hill, he's a good player. He's not just a good storyline. He's not just a good teammate. He's an athletic player. He's a player that can do multiple things as a passer, inside the pocket, outside the pocket, and beyond. And he's also an infectious leader. He's not a rah-rah leader. He's a guy that the young men on our team, they're around him, they galvanize behind him. And I'm excited to see what he's capable of doing. And I think it is important that he does take the reins and runs with it, because we've got a couple good young players that are coming up the position. Stephen Duncan has plus arm talent. He'll be sitting out suspended for the opening game, but we will have the opportunity to bring about Davis Shanley as a redshirt freshman coming up this year, and then this incoming freshman quarterback, Kevaris Thomas. Early reports out of our play run practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays are that he is as advertised as a passer, as an athlete, even his strength in the weight room. I think he might be the strongest physical player in the incoming freshman class at 6'3.5", 257 pounds. So we're excited to see what he's capable of doing, and we're going to compete for that position. We're going to compete for the longevity of the position.
Anything else?
How much have things slowed down for you, entering year 2, that when you come in first year, you're kind of hitting the ground running, learning everybody. How much now have you learned from that process where you can really implement what you want on the program?
Well, Dr. Caboni, who's president for this event in Louisville, and I, we joked about it. We're going in as freshmen. We were freshman class arrivals in 2017, and what I learned, and I think Dr. Caboni can speak to as well, about your quote unquote freshman year, is that you come into an amazing place with incredible amounts of potential, and a lot of that potential has already been realized, but you also have to get under the hood of the car a little bit, and you got to see exactly what was in place prior to you arriving. You got to see where the strengths were. You got to see where the weaknesses were. In building our culture for our football program, it was important for me to identify the strong suits that already existed in our locker room, and there were plenty of those. You don't win championships without strong foundations. But then there were some other things from a cultural standpoint that I found to be very important to enhance and to bring to the table. And that's been an ongoing process. But going into year 2, you combine what had been done before, after going through it with them for a year, and what our vision is with this program going forward, and how we want our young men to operate and behave on a day-to-day basis, and how we want them to attack our goals. It's been an enjoyable time. The other thing that's been great for me is to get the staff really set. Going into year 2, my confidence level in our staff in the roles that they're in is very high. I think we have one of the best staffs in Group of 5 football. I believe that. I think that our new strength coach, Jason Veldkamp, was instrumental in the development of this Louisville program in the early 2000s as the head strength coach Bobby Petrino in that era, was instrumental in the building at Arkansas. And I think to have a Power 5 strength coach like Jason Velkamp has been more impactful than I probably would have anticipated about 5 months into his time here. And then our new offensive line coach, just the impact that TJ Woods has had on our offensive line group, our offensive line recruiting, the leadership of that position. He's a pro. He's a Power 5 offensive line coach, and we have a chance to learn from him every day. And for me, as somebody who's going to be very involved in what we do offensively and calling plays, it's really important for me to have the Robin to my Batman, and that's the offensive line coach, and I feel like I have that in TJ Woods.
Coach, how has the relationship with Nike impacted the program overall and recruiting specifically?
Well, the swoosh is powerful. It's really powerful. I think even our just our brand, even regionally, locally on campus, has grown tremendously with the swoosh. The impact of recruiting is where it's on a completely different wavelength for us. For me to have a closet full of Jordans, I do have about 16 pairs of Jordans that are in my closet in the office, and to be able to show a recruit, that we are truly a Nike school, and that Western Kentucky is going to be on the cutting edge with our fashion as a team, with our uniforms, and I'm looking forward to adding another uniform with that swoosh on it this coming fall. It's going to be pretty exciting.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.